Ready.
Well, I'm sitting here this afternoon with OZZIE KABAN. OZZIE KABAN was involved with Frank Sinatra for over 23 years, and OZZIE is probably one of the only persons that I know, actually I met another gentleman not too long ago, but has some involvement with Frank Sinatra. So OZZIE, why don't you tell us a little bit about Frank Sinatra?
Well, Frank was a different type of an individual, very professional. He knew what he wanted, and he got it. Working with him was a pleasure because being a professional, he knew what my role was and he knew what his role was.
Right.
And basically we were able to go to places, functions, performances, and everything went very well, very well. But Frank was an individual that, one of the individuals that I really loved working with. He didn't need to practice, he didn't need to do anything, but he would go out there, he'd feel the orchestra out, next thing you know, he was belting it out.
Yeah, that's what I heard. He didn't like to rehearse, he didn't like to practice.
Rehearsal was one run, that was it.
No sound checks, he'd just show up to the stadium and away he'd go.
And he felt good, it went.
Yeah.
That's it. And most of the time it did, because he was the type of individual that was a leader. And as far as an individual is concerned, we had a lot of fun. You know,
that's great.
We were professional, it was a professional relationship, but it was a friendly relationship. We could laugh at each other. He was never afraid to take a joke against himself, and he was quite capable of making a joke about me.
Okay. Acted as his bodyguard as well as security for his shows and everything.
We did that, yeah. My position was his bodyguard, making sure that there was no embarrassment, there was no problems when we brought him in here into Canada, when we landed at the airport, to make sure that everything was comfortable, transportation was ready to go, and the whole bit.
Yeah, I see that with all your pictures up on the walls there. We're going to have a look at them a little bit later on, but I see that with you being at the airport, and then Frank and Dean and Sammy getting off the plane, and you all together, and I guess that you were the welcoming committee as well.
Jelly Russo was his confidant, and Jelly and I worked together quite a bit. Jelly had a couple of restaurants, one in New York and one in Los Angeles, but Jelly was his confidant.
Amen, yeah.
But we had a lot of fun together. We drove Frank crazy at times.
Yeah.
But it was like a family affair. The thing that Frank liked is the fact that we were able to insulate him from press if he didn't want it, and from people that he didn't want. We were able to insulate him, and this is what he wanted. He wanted to do what he wanted to do and get out.
OZZIE, do you mind me to ask a question? I've heard so many stories about Sinatra, how he really was like people say. Some people say that he was not pleasant, other people say that he was a real gentleman.
Frank was a gentleman. He wouldn't take any guff from anybody. He was his own man, but he was a gentleman. He understood people and he treated people well.